Think about it. 10 years ago, how many knew what the hell a supply chain was? No, I'm serious. It's a phrase when I started talking about supply chain, people are going, supply, no reason why they should have been. It's not because they weren't smart. Hey, it's great to be here. It really is. Jeff, thanks. Thank you, Jeffrey, for your introduction. I really mean it. It's a big deal. And you're a big guy. As I told you, if I had you running in front of me when I was playing flanker back, I could have been an All-American, man. It could have been big. It could have been big.
When you say that you're going to be monitoring some of the speech on there, if you see something that you don't like, would you try to shut Twitter down?
So look, you know, when you talk about monitoring, you know, it is, I hate to break it to you, Peter, just like everybody else, we very much monitor the news. We pay close attention to everything that you all are reporting, and Twitter's in the news a lot. And so that's what we're paying attention to. We're paying attention to what is in the news and what is being reported on the misinformation that's out there.
When are you guys going to delete the White House Twitter account?
Why would we do that?
Well, you're saying that you're keeping an eye on Twitter because it might not be a suitable platform, so why use it?
Look, I don't have anything to share on any policy or any changes that we will be making. We have multiple platforms, as you know, that we utilize to communicate with the American people. President Biden met with 3 U.S. winners of the 2022 Nobel Prize, Dr. Carolyn Bertozzi, who won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry, Dr. John Clauser, who won the Nobel Prize in Physics, and Dr. Douglas Diamond, who won the Nobel Prize in Economic Science. The president meets with U.S. winners of the Nobel Prize.
And on the sanctions relief for Venezuela, why is it that President Biden would rather let U.S. companies drill for oil in Venezuela than here in the U.S.?
That's not an accurate take on the president's view.
Earlier this month, he said no more drilling. There is no more drilling.
The president has issued 9,000 permits for drilling on U.S. federal lands, Peter.
Does the president think there's some benefit to the climate to drill oil in Venezuela and not here?
No, it has nothing to do with a benefit to the climate, Peter. Again, there are 9,000 unused permits here in the United States on federal land that oil and gas companies can and should take advantage of. 9,000.
Tribes as nations and treaties as law. Respect for... Beg your pardon? I thought you said no. I was getting a little worried. I thought somebody said no. And I'm sure I'll make mistakes, but you know me. Don't hesitate to correct me when I make it. And I know you won't hesitate. But I really mean it. I really mean it. Well, I tell you what, no one's ever done as much as president as this administration is doing, period. I am committed. And as my grandfather Finnegan would say, that's the Irish of it. Thank you all very much. Oh, I don't know about that. Thanks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Finally, let's keep it going, okay? Well, it's great to see you all today. President Macron and I have had a chance to spend some time together. We went to private dinner last night with our wives, and just came to tell you that we're leaving. But it's wonderful to have him here. All right, we're each going to call on 2 people, a total of 2 people, a total of 4 all told. And the first questioner is going to be from AFP, Miss End.
And others will enable us to very much clarify all of this without any difficulty. So I'm going home confident, but as well lucid as to what remains to be done on the European side, which is a good thing.
I'm confident. It's my answer. Okay, who's the next question? Got my list here. Is it my turn to call on someone? Right? Okay, how about NPR, Tom Merkeith? Thank you, folks. All right.
So do you have a message to the protesters in China you spoke about Iran?
President, why aren't you going to Georgia to help Senator Warnock?
I'm going to Georgia today to help Senator Warren, not to Georgia. I'm going to help Senator Warren because I'm doing a major fundraiser up in Boston today for our next and continued Senate candidate and senator. Thank you.
President, how soon should rail workers expect sick days?
To buy oil and refill the strategic reserves, Mr. President?
I can convince our Republicans to see light.
And is it time for the U.S. government to step in to prevent?
I've read a number of your writings. I want to, you wrote an article in December of 1998 entitled Person of Faith, Race and Religion as Experiential Knowledge. You wrote it in a journal called Perspective. And this is what you said, I quote, your words, not mine. The problem with the Christian coalition is not that they are Bible thumpers, parentheses, there are personal beliefs that often result from religious experiences, close parentheses, but that they are bigots, end of quote. Did I quote that correctly?
I believe you did.
Did you write that?
I did write that when I was 18 years old, or 20 years old, excuse me. I do want to be clear. I do not agree with that today. I wrote that before I went to law school, before I had any kind of
You were a grown woman when...
I'm sorry.
You were a grown woman when you wrote this.
I was 20 years old when I wrote it. It was before I had a professional career.
You were in your third year at Harvard?
I was...
A senior at Harvard?
I was a junior at Harvard.
Junior. So you were 3/4 of the way through your Harvard education, and you wrote that.
That is correct, Senator. It is
Wow.
20 years before I became a judge. I do not agree with it today. I do want to be clear about that.
Okay. Judge Simmons, let me just ask you a couple of questions. You finished law school in 2004?
Yes, sir.
All right. Have you ever tried a case in federal court?
I have not seen there.
Have you ever filed a brief in federal court?
I have not practiced in federal court. My entire practice has been in the state court.
Have you ever argued a motion in federal?
I have my entire practice of over 12 years as a prosecutor has been in state court, Senator.
Okay. Have you ever, you serve as a state court judge, have you ever presided over a jury trial as a state court judge?
In the 5 years that I've been on a Superior Court bench, I have been in a moving department, and now I'm the supervising judge.
Have you ever tried a jury trial?
As an attorney, I have tried.
No, as a judge.
As a judge, I have presided over court trials, not jury trials, sir.
No, so the answer is no.
I have not presided over jury trials as a judge.
Have you, in the 5 years you've been on the state bench, have you ever written any opinions, issued any opinions?
Well, sir, I've been in moving departments in the 5 years that I've been as a Superior Court judge. We don't issue written opinions in moving departments on the Superior Court.
So the answer is no?
In the 5 years I've been on the Superior Court, I've been in moving departments. We don't issue written opinions in moving departments.
Okay. What is the standard of review in federal court for questions of fact? What's the political question doctrine?
I have not, as a Superior Court judge, and over the last 5 years, and as a Deputy District Attorney for 12 years, I have not practiced in a federal court, so if I am so fortunate enough to be confirmed, I will obviously apply the applicable law.
To fire the prosecutor that is investigating the corrupt oligarch who's paying his son $1 million a year, did getting that prosecutor fired benefit that oligarch?
Thank you, Senator Cruz. Senator Van
Are you going to allow him to answer the question, Madam Chairman?
I am not going to allow him to answer the question.
Why are you covering for the Vice President? Do you not want him to answer that question? He said that the Vice President did nothing to benefit the oligarch.
I think it's unfortunate for you, Senator Cruz, put in position that are uncomfortable the nominees to be our ambassadors.
Okay, this is his sworn testimony. This is his sworn testimony. I understand that you want to cover for the Vice President.
That he is going to raise those concerns anytime.
Was his testimony true or false that Biden did nothing to benefit the oligarch? Let him answer the question. Why are you afraid of him answering the question?
I'm not. I just want to move on.
But you won't let him answer. I asked a yes/no question. Will you allow him to answer the yes/no question?
Yes, you can answer yes or no. Thank you.
The prosecutor who was fired by the Ukrainian parliament did nothing to investigate.
Kevin McCarthy says that he invited President Biden down to the border. How does the president RSVP? We know the president's never been down to the border. The possible next speaker says that he wants him to go with him. So is he going to?
So look, he's been there. He's been to the border, and since he took office.
When did he go to the border?
Since he took office, the President Biden has been taking action to fix our immigration system and secure our border, and that's why on day one he put forward an immigration reform, a piece of legislation to deal with what is currently happening at the border. But that we're not seeing that from Republicans. We're not seeing a willingness to work with us on fixing a situation that's been around for decades now. Instead, they're doing political stunts. That's what they want to do. That's how they want to take care of the situation. And we're cutting down on asylum processing times. All right, bonjour. Oh, nice. Okay. Get into the spirit, folks. Thanks, everybody.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Bonne nuit.